Yo, it's me, it's the SCOTT. And welcome to Throwback Thursday, where I take a look at a 90s film and give a review. And today, we're looking at the 1996 Brian De Palma film, Mission Impossible, starring Tom Cruise and John Voight. And fuck it. I can't remember names. I had to write stuff down. So, the film is a adaptation of the 1960s TV series with only the character of Jim Phelps returning from the show, played by John Voight here. The story is that Ethan Hunt is a part of a team who are on a mission to collect the knock list, which contains the names of the cover names, I think, of the CIA operatives, stuff like that. It's kind of hard to follow, but while on this mission, the entire team, except for Hunt and Jim Phelps' wife, we find out later her name Claire, we'll find out that she survived, are killed. And I kind of figured something was going to happen because I saw Emilio Estevez in this film, and I'm a big Mighty Ducks guy, and I'm saying, hey, Emilio Estevez is in this, Breakfast Club. I'm like, that's cool, and then I sat there, and I went, wait, he's not in any of the other movies. I know he's not. Shit, he's going to die, isn't he? And he does. He goes, in the elevator, he's dead. But he does have the best line. When it's one of the best lines in the film. It's when he's showing Hunt the exploding gum. Red light, green light. Press them together. Hasta lasagna, don't get any on you. It's fantastic. Sorry, I got itch. I'm getting a little sweaty. Sorry. So Ethan Hunt decides he gets disavowed by Kittredge, who is the head of IMF, and because he finds out that Kittredge had a second team, and Kittredge is trying to find a mole within the IMF, and he believes Hunt is that mole. So Hunt puts together a new team with Luther Stickle and Franz Krieger, played by Jean Reno, and he's the black guy he's in Dawn of the Dead. Look. Does it say on the back? Can anyone read that? Ving Rhames. Damn. Ving Rhames. I'm not going to time with names today, okay? Ving Rhames is Luther Stickle, and Krieger is played by Jean Reno. Alright? So, yes. And so they have to, Hunt gets in touch with Max, who is really supposed to be played by a male actor, but it's played by a female actress. And Max was in contact with someone named Job, who is the mole, named after the Bible verse, Job 3:14. So, yeah. And then he makes a deal with Max to get the real knock list from the IMF. And that whole sequence, it's the infamous sequence. The whole, that whole sequence. It's pure, what is the word? Suspense. Excuse me for a minute. Pure suspense. The whole thing. You get the water dropping from the eye. He catches it. The whole thing. And then the knife falling down. And going. There is some kind of side thing with some guy who gets sick. I don't know if they induced that or if they got lucky and he got sick. I don't know. I think maybe they did induce it, but who knows. But yeah. It's a great scene. Pure suspense. There's a scene. There's a couple scenes, and they're both in like a diner type thing. It's when first he's talking to Kittredge, and Kittredge is telling him, about he's talking and Hunt's putting together in pieces that he had a secondary team out there. And then there's a scene where Phelps shows up again, supposedly after being dead. And while they're talking about what happened, we see what Hunt is thinking in his head, and it's showing us what Phelps actually did, what actually happened, and he's putting it together. And yeah, so let's talk about the character of Jim Phelps here. A few actors from the original series were asked to be a part of the movie. They declined. I think there was an original script somewhere where the original team was going to be killed off right away, so they're bringing a new team. But that didn't go through. And everyone declined. I even asked Peter Graves to come back to play the role of Jim Phelps. But after he read the script and found out how they were going to write his character and how they're going to portray his character, he also declined. What do I mean by that? Well, those of you who are wagging your finger or shaking your head when I said that Phelps died are probably already know this. But Phelps is the villain of the film. Turns out he set everything up to get the knock list and sell it. He is Job. He's going to sell it on the black market or whatever it is. He is Job. And there's another great scene where they're on a train and Claire goes in the back and she sees Jim and she's in on it. And she basically says, "Oh, we can have Hunt take all the blame. And we can just leave." And then they do the famous mask thing, which looks like CGI, but I guess it's not. Rob Bottin, who did effects on the Thing, did the masks. But why does it look like CGI? They claim it's not CGI, but it looks like CGI. It looks. You tell me that's not CGI. I don't know. But it's not, apparently. And so they reveals that it's Hunt in disguise. And basically this whole train thing was a setup. Krieger is also working with them. It's revealed that he killed the other two agents. In the earlier part where one dies, he killed two of the agents. So yeah, he was part of it. There's this big fight on a train between Phelps and Hunt and Krieger's in a helicopter. I feel like maybe a helicopter would not be able to go into a tunnel so easily. I mean, it hooks to the train train goes into a tunnel, and the helicopter just goes whoop under with it. I understand he's flying it, but it's not that smooth. It would go into the tunnel, and he would be dead. I'm sorry. It makes no sense to me. I'm sitting there going, no. The believability of him just going underneath in the tunnel with the helicopter blades going. You know how wide helicopter blades are? No. He would have crashed and burned. I'm sorry. That's my only negative for this film, really. And I don't know. The mask can't really be negative if it's actually practical effects. So not really. But that's really a negative. And the internet being so good here when the internet was very, very new at the time. But that helicopter thing is the only bad thing I have to say about this film. This film is fantastic. I absolutely enjoyed it. The way that Brian De Palma shot some of the scenes is great. You get the view and stuff, and there's quite a few scenes. That scene with that scene had me on my edge of my seat. I'm like, and when the knife fell, I'm like, oh shit, and it just went. I'm like, oh, because it didn't land, but at the same time they just left it there. He pulled him up, he left it there, and the guy's just like. Fingerprints on that knife, right? And that never comes back into play, but there are fingerprints on that knife. I just realized that there's fingerprints on that knife. Overall, I enjoyed this film. I'm telling you to seek out this film. It's one of the better TV to film adaptations, and it follows the sort of thing. There's a scene at the beginning where Phelps he's sitting in there and he's listening to it. excuse me, he's listening to the tape, you know. Your mission used to accept it, and then this tape will self-destruct. He put the cigarette in his mouth. Tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds, and he lights it. So the smoke from the cigarette coalesces with the smoke from the thing, and they can't, you know, figure out that something's going on. I thought that was brilliant. I was like, yes, that's smart. So, what kind of rating am I going to give Mission Impossible? Well, there were a couple things that kind of judged it down for me. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 for Mission Impossible. So what are your thoughts on Mission Impossible? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one.